Welcome to Uncloaked Illusions. I'm Chris Anthony, and I'm sitting here with Chef Jemil, Seattle's own. And during this interview, we're sort of doing something unorthodox, and that is we're having dinner, late dinner, and we're having discussions. So I will leave the floor open for you to give us a little perspective on how you got to where you are.
I got here with my undenying love for food, people, just a great feeling I had being in the service industry and know that we have the capacity to make a difference in somebody's day. No matter what your occupation is, when you come in contact with another human being, no matter what's on your mind or how heavy your day is, you have a responsibility to transform people's lives by your actions and your attitudes. That's power. And it goes beyond just the kitchen.
So even with that love that you have for the potential of making another person's day brighter, let's discuss some of the backlash that comes along with that, trusting the wrong people in business, making the wrong business decisions, and allowing your humanity to get in the way of your logic when dealing with people in business.
That's a good question. My logic behind trying to make a difference in people's life is short. We should be a little more humane towards each other. This industry, I've had a lot of different starts, and if your motives are not right with me, then these things will not last. Everybody that I dealt with, motives wasn't right, but if your intentions are not right with me as far as business, it won't last. And I'm pretty easygoing and humble when it comes down to being in partnership with people. But if you're not right, I'm gonna weigh it out and let it just run its course. But the effort for me stops at some point, but not the effort to the guest that I'm, charged of serving, but the son of a guns that you're in business with. I've been in business with a lot of people. I enjoyed the conversation and excited about venturing into business, but then if your motives are not right and the greed exceeds the compassion to treat people that you hire right, this is not slavery. People can walk away from all of this at any given time. We're here to teach people lessons, and it ain't about money, because money is the easiest thing to have and lose. This is about humanity. This is about just structure. This is about pride. This is about everything but greed.
So
food is easy. You make a profit on everything you sell. So what's the big deal? How greedy can you be?
So are you speaking about just in general the way that we should treat each other, and kind of overlooking the fact that most people are driven solely by money?
Well, I think I'm talking about our capacity to be greedy, but also how we treat each other, what our expectations of other people with their talent, and we don't have the talent that they bring to the table. You can't ask a chef to be a waiter or treat him like a waiter or like a houseboy or a busboy. You can't ask a person that's professional to stoop to the level just to, cut things down to earn more money. It doesn't work like that. Money is trouble. Money is necessity, but it's trouble if it's not handled correctly. If it overpowers your sense of decency, it's not good. And if we can't take money with us, and try to shorten your questions to me so I could answer it without having to overthink so many different avenues of it. I want to give it to you straight, but I don't need to be all over the place.
You don't need to be all over
well,
the place.
Well, you're asking me a question.
Simple.
It's not simple when you trying to inject the answer into a question, if you're going to interview me, interview me.
That's
Keep
what
on
I'm doing. You can make me go off on
You could go off. I don't care. It's your right to fucking go off. I'm enjoying this. It's your right to go off, but it's my right to want to be asked a question a certain way. What is that?
Those are the Poseidon wings?
They're pretty.
Oh, good. The beef and chicken fried, or here, I'll switch this around.
That's pretty.
The tuna medium rare hibachi. And can I get you guys anything else for now?
This is fine.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. What's your name?
Dashel?
Dashiell. Like Blitzen and Vincent and all them people that was carrying Santa Claus slave around.
Pretty close, Dash for short. So,
And where are you from?
I'm from Maine.
Portland?
No.
Augusta?
No.
That's the only two cities I know in Maine.
Dexter.
Dexter, Maine. Where is it? Where is that located?
Well, it's about an hour north of Augusta.
Okay.
Hour, 15 minutes. Hour.
You cut us off. Hour and 15 minutes north of Augusta. But what about that governor you got up there? He's a super crazy bastard.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I haven't lived there in quite a few years.
What's quite a few years, Dashiell.
Well, I guess I was at 18 or 19 when I left.
Well, you're 20 now, so that's 2 years ago.
I'm turning 24 in a
Oh,
couple
wow.
months.
Well, he's been the governor for quite some time, so.
Yeah.
But it was nice chatting with you.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
Maine. Oh.
Enjoy your meal.
Okay.
So ask your question. Smart ass. I love you, but you're a smart ass.
Well, get a little
This is
deeper.
not good.
It's not good.
Well, it's not good for me right now. It tastes like it's seafood in it.
But you like seafood.
I don't want to taste it unless I know it's there. You know, it's scary when you taste something that has a seafoody taste and you didn't expect it.
Okay.
So, you know.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I
know.
can't eat it.
Well-
if you're telling me it tastes like
Well,
seafood.
you can taste it. It tastes like, you know, and I could eat seafood in fried rice, but if my palate's not ready for it, then it took a pretty bad turn. It's all good though.
This is pretty decent.
Well, it looks incredible.
And, you know, I got the tuna medium rare, but it doesn't taste medium rare. But anywho, moving
Open
on.
a piece of it up. Let me see it. That's not medium rare. Oh, it is
Well,
beautifully.
yeah,
it's
it is.
rare.
It is, yeah.
It's beautiful.
So, okay, we get a little deeper in question. When you look at our black communities, what do you feel like maybe we can implement to improve?
It's a good question.
Improve as a nation, as a person.
The black community can improve by stop trying to live up to these so-called white standards and set some standards for ourselves.
I agree.
That's one of the things that's a problem. We're a different breed of people. The things we love, the things we appreciate ain't necessarily what, you know, it's cohesive to other communities or cultures. We lost our culture when we try to assimilate with white culture, and then they made us ashamed of who we were.
So that assimilation started from the moment we arrived here, right?
No,
or do you
no,
think it became more blatant over time?
We had no damn identity when we arrived
know.
here. Okay? So it wasn't assimilating to nothing but somebody ruling over you. And that's in any slave masterman, situation, no matter what culture you're. You got Chinese slaves, you had Japanese slaves, you had, Jewish slaves. You had slaves all over, but this culture has been able to record more of its history because of technology, because of the truth. And we're not that far removed from these things. We're not 2,000 years away from slavery like most of, some of the cultures in Africa which still enslave people. So we had something in this country that a lot of people misinterpret. We had a living constitution that can be changed and altered to betterment of mankind. Other societies didn't have that. We kind of developed our democracy from the Greek we developed our Constitution from some of the things that the French had written in their Constitution after their independence. Or maybe, you know, I don't want to be out of sequence here, but I know we got a lot from the French, you know, as far as need for revolution and our need for independence. But what might surprise people is that I think the founding fathers, even though slave owners and all these type of things, a lot of them were that signed that Constitution, they still had the capacity to understand. And everything is fine. I don't think under any circumstance they had a black man being free in mind when they wrote it. Mm-hmm. So once we became free, we were not allowed to capitulate anywhere in our own culture. We weren't allowed to develop. We so behind the curve. But we still shouldn't be assimilating to what white man consider culture. We're a lot more powerful as a people if we like these immigrants come here and they develop they get their own businesses, they create their own communities. We were never allowed to do that without
we had businesses in our communities at one point.
Well, let me finish. You can't ask me a question and then cut me off with your opinion. All of that is true what you say. We have businesses and everything else. When they started seeing you do well, they find a way to cut you down, and that was through social welfare and shit like that. Well, we wasn't, you know, we do so well to a point, and then they were able to cut you down with Jim Crow laws. They would cut you down with politics, pure politics, whether it was Democrats or Republican, and it was pure politics. And since they had to abide by a constitution that was living, they said we'll get you on other, you know, other little issues, you know, like the ability to vote in some states. You know, they made everything a little harder for black people to do. But still in all, we still try to assimilate with white culture instead of becoming stronger, you know, as a black nation. We can't forget who we are, but we certainly shouldn't try to assimilate with this bullshit. We should be happy in our own communities, happy in our own churches. And, you know, fuck separate with equal. We want equal. Because we should have the ability to walk down the street without the fear of a fucking police officer stopping a young man, you know, and slapping cuffs on him because he wearing a goddamn hoodie, or, you know, getting shot by police because he don't want to raise his hands. It's unconstitutional to be raising your fucking hands just because the police say do so. You have to have a crime. You have to have some type of, you know, warrant to ask a person to do that. But you got a society where you got the law enforcement that's afraid. They do so much bad shit to people say we're not going to take it anymore. And they're afraid. That's why we get young black men killed. And we also have a problem with young black men not respecting any rule of law. You know, laws are laws. And the Bible said pay homage to Caesar so you don't have to be a part of that. That don't mean you have to worship the son of a gun. You just follow the laws. That's all. Because you don't have to live these laws in the greater scheme of things. Follow these laws so you could be safe.
What would you say contributed to that lack of respect for a law?
When we started becoming a little more powerful, you know, as a people, when we started, you know, coming together, you know, then they find ways to push it right back down. You know, whenever you took a step forward socially, financially, it was always some shit in the works to push you right back down, so-called put you in your place. And that's bullshit. Our place is wherever we want to be. You know, but at what cost you have done is almost getting us to a point where we self-destruct. We don't create drugs. We purchase them. Mm-hmm. We sell them to each other. You know, all these poisons that we put in ourselves, that comes strictly from the higher echelon in society. And that ain't us.
I mean,
in this society.
It's well documented that the CIA pretty much put that into our neighborhoods to
everybody put it into our neighborhood. You know, you got, you know, the mob, you got, and it's just not Italian mob, you got Jewish mob, you got a lot of people who put a lot of poison into one community. You know, why safeguarding their community, why you know, killing other people. But you know what? Rome always fall. When you poison other people, it comes back on your ass. Mm-hmm. And that's what, you know, where we're at in America.
You think that's what we're seeing today?
Exactly. we got a pocket of conservative hate groups that's popping up that people shielded themselves from, because that don't exist in this society. You know, people had these blinders on. The liberals saying that don't exist. But we as black people, we always knew. I don't care if you're in Pennsylvania, I don't care if you're in Maine, I don't care if you're in, Mississippi. You're treated the same way, or just under different guise, So we knew it was happening, and the government, it ain't about the CIA and all that to me, and it could be. You do your research. I haven't gotten that far into it, but it's totally about systematically cutting people up whenever they take a step forward. And that's the powers that be. It's government on the state, local level. It's government allowing certain factions, certain groups of people to poison other, people with drugs and prostitution. And it exists in their community, but it's not reported because they still maintain a certain semblance of wealth over black people. Your question earlier was, what should we do to combat that? Stop doing drugs. Stop believing in the government. Become independent financially. Stop saying that I got $1 million and I need a $1 million home. Take your $1 million and invest it in your community. Your return is going to be people that come back to that community and want to strengthen the community. Gucci don't live in your community. Why fucking should I wear Gucci on my arm?
Yeah, I agree.
That's where another reason this society is gone. We're so materialistic about what wealth is and what riches are. Riches are not wearing other people's shit on your arm. Riches is a state of mind. That's why your wealth it's in your heart. And it's in your capacity to make a difference in other people's lives.
So it's basically stifled in our education system where
we're not educated.
Where black people
we're
not
white educated.
Well, economics is not something important.
No, they
in
don't
our
teach
community.
it. They don't teach economics in school. They don't teach it. They teach you basic arithmetic, basic mathematics. They don't teach you anything about finances in school. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
They don't teach you anything relevant to
I got the
getting
last
out
of that
here.
probably.
Yeah, but they don't teach you anything relevant about how to be an adult. And this shouldn't be when you hit college. This should be throughout your education.
I got it in middle school.
Well, that's good. You're one of the damn lucky ones. You probably had some fantastic teachers. Another thing, when you criminalize teachers for fucking trying to teach, and they can't teach, then it's a challenge for them to get up every day and try to motivate and mold and shape minds, young minds. The curriculum is all wrong. Mm-hmm. We're teaching the wrong shit. We're teaching shit that's not true or relevant in a person's growth. Because we want numbers. We want certain standards, which don't apply to most people in this country. It's the biggest crock of bullshit. The education system, there is none.
Yeah.
And privatizing it is a little too late. You got to start from scratch. You got to start when that baby's going to a nursery school and things like that. But it's our whole curriculum and education that's made us a horrible society in it. And then it's an elitist educational system. You got fucking liberals going to Yale and Harvard and places like that who want to say, we can do this socially for these. You're not doing shit for nobody socially.
Yeah.
All you're doing is keeping yourself in a hierarchy and putting another race of people at a certain level to where they can't attain anything psychologically, financially, communicatively, things like that. It's set up to help your ass fail. When we were in charge of our own schools, we had better results. We had better students. We had, better teachers. As soon as you start letting white people educate your kids, that took a lot out of what your kids became.